There were assurances from the Biden team that this would not be like 2016, that Bernie Sanders delegates would be heard and respected, and in some ways, things have improved. But in many ways, things have not. We saw that the DNC struck down Medicare for all, even legal marijuana, and there are other reports that the Biden team and the DNC is trying to stifle Sanders delegates' influence, and the Sanders delegates are fighting back quietly about it. There's a letter that's being circulated from Sanders delegates demanding that Biden make his foreign policy team less hawkish, and James Zogby, a Sanders ally, published a piece in The Nation that's lightly chiding the DNC for boxing out Sanders delegates, and included a survey that said over 80% of Bernie delegates said they felt, quote, disrespected or ignored. This is as Bernie, who will never get credit for this, but would get all the blame if Biden loses, has repeatedly been making the case for Joe Biden in media appearances.
I think people who voted for me, people who support the progressive movement, understand that the next 3 months are maybe, Ali, the most important 3 months in the modern history of this country, and that all of us are going to have to come together and work in a way that we have never worked before to have the largest voter turnout in the history of this country, to make sure that all of the votes are counted, and that we send Donald Trump packing and elect Joe Biden.
Ugh, did you guys hear that? Bernie said if Joe Biden doesn't turn the United States into some sort of communist chop-style nation state, that we should all vote for Jill Stein. Oh wait, he didn't say that at all. But that's what the Democratic establishment hears whenever he says anything. That's what they filter it through. So that's the life of Bernie Sanders, though. All of the blame, never the credit, especially as all he wants to do is just fight to give people health care and a living wage and send their kids to college and have a dignified life. And as he urges his supporters to vote for Joe Biden, as I alluded to, there are reports that they've been ousted from the process. And specifically, there's been a battle that's been waged over foreign policy and the people that Joe Biden is thinking of appointing to his foreign policy team. A new letter that's being circulated among delegates to the Democratic National Convention is raising alarm bells about the circle of advisors who would likely form Biden's foreign policy team if he became president. A widely circulated message promoting the letter, which is already signed by more than 275 delegates, almost all of whom were pledged to Senator Bernie Sanders, says Biden's current circle is a horror show of advisors with track records of supporting disastrous U.S. military interventions. We ask you not to rely on foreign policy advice from those who may have a conflict of interest as a result of their relationships and lobbying on behalf of merchants selling weapons and surveillance technology, the letter says. The message notes that Anthony Blinken, Biden's longtime chief aide on foreign affairs, co-founded a company called West Exec Advisors, which was involved in a Pentagon effort to enhance drone warfare, and that another Biden advisor, former Defense Department official Michelle Flournoy, worked at Boston Consulting Group for years, during which the firm increased its contracts with the military by many millions of dollars. It also highlights Avril Haines, a former CIA deputy director who was unpopular on the left, for her role in redacting a report on President George W. Bush's use of torture and her role in President Barack Obama's program of targeted killing. Former Obama aides Samantha Power and Jake Sullivan, who supported the president's intervention in Libya's civil war, Nicholas Burns, a former diplomat in the running for Secretary of State, for supporting the invasion of Iraq and condemning whistleblower Edward Snowden, and Amit Jani, who runs Asian American outreach for Biden and has links to right-wing Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. That's all incredibly damning to me. The left, and I learned this from my friend Michael, needs to be way more comprehensive in its approach to foreign policy, because right there, look at that. That's completely divorcing the ideals that are supposedly espoused by the Democratic Party from what we do to people internationally, right? So listen to that. Foreign policy advisors with 1, direct incentives, financial incentives for war based on the companies they lobby for and firms that they work for. 2, covering up Bush's use of torture. That was one of the people there. 3, multiple ties to escalating drone strikes under Obama. And multiple supporters of the invasion of Iraq, including Biden himself. Biden was the chair of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee for a very long time. So he has a track record of supporting aggressive, immoral interventions throughout the world. And of course, to me, that like, he has an advisor with links to Modi, the fascist. What are we talking about here? He's one of the top 5 worst far-right leaders in this country. We should not have a link between the Biden administration, which is trying to pretend like it's tilting more progressively, and Narendra Modi. But what Biden is counting on is that the left is not as aggressive when it comes to demanding things when it comes to foreign policy. But things are changing on that front, in large part due to people like my friend Michael, who focused a lot on this on his show, The Michael Brooks Show, and just other great leftists who are saying, no, we can't silo human dignity. And what we do abroad is atrocious. And just because it's not on our TV screens, on infotainment channels like CNN and MSNBC and Fox News all the time, on Fox News it's glorified, just because it seems distant from us doesn't make the human pain that we inflict any less acute.